And what's going on, guys? Dan Wise back with Wise Media Group. This is an interesting interview, but we interviewed them last week and the audio was not there. So we're going to be talking today to Kate and Brooke, and the name of the company again is Granon Film Productions. They're a local film production here in Yakima, trying to bring the art scene to Yakima. That's coming up next. All right. So we're going to pretend like this is our first interview. So don't act surprised at any of the questions I ask.
Like I said, I forgot what we talked about mostly, so it will be good.
I did too. And you were just coming under the weather that day. So it's probably better that we're on take too.
I am healthier now. Yes.
So we have beautiful Kate over here. We have beautiful Brooke over here. So Kate, tell us a little bit about your background, how you got into this, and how you met this this individual over here to your left.
Man, so I was the kid growing up who always was trying to get people together, mostly my siblings, who got dragged into so many things, various artistic endeavors, whether that would be writing stories or like coming up, like just playing outside in general. But we'd put on backyard plays and I'd write scripts and I'd type them up and I'd print them out. And I don't know how many ink cartridges I used in my parents' printer, but probably a lot. And at one point, I decided that I'd got so ambitious, I was going to involve some friends of ours from church in a play. And so, but just my mom was the one who suggested, why don't you just buy a little camera and film it? Because you guys are all like 12 years old or younger and you can't drive, and like trying to coordinate rehearsals is just going to be a nightmare. So I was like, oh, okay. So it is my mom who started the idea to me to be a filmmaker. And that film was 30 minutes long and it was super weird and made by a 12-year-old. So, but that was the grand beginning of my filmmaking adventures.
And you were homeschooled, right?
Yes.
So I imagine there's probably an extra level of oddity to somebody that's homeschooled, because there's different. Every friend I've had in school that was homeschooled, well, I guess they weren't friends in school, people that were homeschooled, they were always, when we were younger, we always thought they were weird, but really what it was, they had like a different set of values, different set of goals. So your mom encouraged this.
Yeah. And
a lot of parents don't do that. A lot of parents just see their kids goofing around and like, oh, you're wasting your time, or why are you going to make YouTube videos, or why would you want to start a podcast? The fact that your mom kind of gave a little push behind that.
Oh yeah.
That's huge, right?
And that was only the first movie. 2 years later, made another one. 2 years later, made another one. And the other ones were way longer, way more ambitious. They each took like 2 years to film. For the last one, we were like driving up into the mountains to film. So like my mom and all the other moms out there who were trucking all these kids around, probably had like 30 people on set at one point. And it's a bunch of kids who can't drive.
And it's really not that different from engaging, like parents that engage their kids into like soccer and they're taking them across the state.
Exactly. I didn't do that.
But it's because what's the alternative? Getting into trouble, no matter what you're going to do, there's going to be a cost associated to it. So what about you? What about you, Brooke? How did you kind of get into this level, this arena?
Yeah, I don't have quite the filmmaking background that Kate does, but I fell in love with movies, right away. So as soon as I watched my first movie, Spider-Man, by the way.
Spider-Man's your first movie you've ever watched?
No, that was the first one that made me fall in love. I don't really remember any before that.
Was this like Tobey Maguire Spider-Man?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I was 6.
Kirsten Dunst and Tony. Okay.
Yep. So ever since then, I've just been enamored with this type of storytelling. But I felt like I couldn't achieve that on my own. So I went into theater, and I have a rather extensive theater background, done probably close to 40 plays by now, just all around Yakima. And then a couple years ago, I met Kate through her husband, my cousin. And it was actually his idea that we start Granon Film Productions, because she was making Tatooine Trouble, which is up on our YouTube channel right now to watch. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. Someone's making movies. And I was like, I want to be a part of this. And
her pitch was, do you need a producer for your show? Because I was writing out all these episodes and she's like, do you need a producer for your show? I'm like, absolutely. So we went to Joy Garden, that Korean restaurant up on Tieton, and we sat there for an hour and we figured out all this stuff. And then we had another meeting at Mac Daddy's. Well, at that time it was the only location. And at the end of that, we're like, yeah, let's start a company.
And then like a week later, we had an LLC.
Oh yeah, it all happened very fast.
And So theater, but you also do stand up, correct? You're also
I
a
do.
comedian.
Yeah, so through my theater experience at YVC, I met some improv people. We did some improv over at the college, and then we have broken off into a group called the Yakima Improv Society. They perform at Glenwood Square Theater every Sunday, and they're fantastic. I've kind of taken a little break with them to focus on Granon and kind of some personal life stuff, but I love them. I've done improv with them for 6 or 7 years now.
Do you feel like, so you're in theater, stand up, do you get to be the person, like, do you get to transform into somebody else where is your regular person, your real life, is the real life Brooke social and outgoing?
Not at all.
Isn't that weird how that works? Because
Yeah.
I've met you a couple times now, and today at coffee, I'm like, is she mad at me? No, I'm just kidding. I didn't think you're mad at me.
Okay.
But that's usually what I've seen. I was in theater too in high school, and usually a lot of the theater kids. I'm a little bit different. I'm weird. I'm very outgoing, but I'm also very, like, I love pretending I'm somebody else at the same time. Yeah. But usually a lot of the kids are very, like, introverted to an extent. But then when they put on their mask, they evolve into that character, and it's almost like they forget who they were. I think a lot of kids that we see in school that are real quiet, when they wear, the long hair over their face and stuff, they're kind of hiding from society. But then when you give them their outlet, it's like, fuck, watch them shine.
Yeah.
So now, how did you guys meet? Like the moment you guys met, how old were you guys? I know you were introduced from her husband and all that stuff.
It was because of D&D, right?
Yes, it was.
Dungeons and Dragons?
I don't play D&D. Brooke plays D&D.
Do you play D&D?
I do.
Oh, it's like
She's
currently?
one of the greatest DMs in Yakima.
So let's talk about this for 1 second. I've got a great story. Vampire Masquerade. I'm sure you've heard of it. It's
Yeah, that's my husband's favorite.
So when I was a kid, my friend Matt and me and Justin used to skip school together. We'd make movies, we'd skip school. That was like our thing. That's when I showed you the video with Oscar Isaac and stuff. And then all of a sudden, Justin starts slowly disappearing. I'm not seeing him. We're still skipping school, but I'm like, where the fuck is Justin? So finally, Justin starts telling me, he's like, well, I'm hanging out with, I've got another friend. I just don't know if you guys are going to get along. Because I wasn't your sports guy, but everybody kind of thought I was for some reason, even though I like sports, but I hated the people that played the sports.
Oh man.
So Justin brings me over, and he tells me, well, first he tells me, he goes, we play this game called Vampire. And I'm like, what? He goes, yeah, we play this game called Vampire. I'm like, what the fuck is Vampire? He's like, well, so he explains it to me. They sit in the dark. They've got candles going. There's basically, it's all a mental story. And I'm like, wait. What kind of fruitcake salad story are you telling me here? So he's like, this is why I didn't want to tell you. He's getting real upset. I'm like, I got to meet this guy. I got to see who the fuck stole my best friend. So we go over there, and Matt comes over. And Matt's like the nicest, bubbly. He's like, hey man, I'm Matt. What's your name? Da, 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 da. So I'm sizing this kid up, like jealous, really jealous. I'm losing my best friend over it. So he has me create a character. So I go through the motions thinking it's just going to be stupid. So I create the character, do the attribute points, spend it all. Man, the entire day, because we were skipping school, like 8 hours went by, and it felt like 30 minutes. And then he stopped the story for that moment. But I'll tell you, we ended up going to Orlando to play somebody else's game where the storyteller, and they did a horrible job. If my introduction would have been somebody else playing the game, I would have exactly what I thought it was going to be is what it would have been.
Oh man.
But it's amazing. You've never tried to play?
No.
It's a lot. Yeah. It's like, if you like reading, it's almost like I don't remember sitting in the dark room around candles. I remember like being a vampire killer, jumping from building to building. That's what I remember in my mind. Is that what it's like for you when you play?
Oh yeah, especially when you play with people who are like really into the acting role playing part. It feels like you're just doing improv, right?
Colin, I think I found my people.
They're definitely.
See, I have two reasons. Okay, I have multiple reasons for not. This is a silly tangent that I'm continuing to go down, but I have multiple reasons for not playing role-playing games. I was going to say role PGs. RPGs. And some of them are very invalid, and I know that. The one that's probably the most invalid is because of what Brooke said, is because it's acting, it's improv. I am terrified of improv.
But this is like in the dark.
So it's still improv.
It's basically what we're doing right now to an extent, right?
Oh yeah.
You're good at this.
But this is me.
That's the improv with the character. It's more like she creates like a outline, and then we fill it in.
Yeah,
the story
I've had
creates.
People trying to.
We're gonna drag you
I've
to
been trying
it.
to convince her for years.
Oh, we're gonna get her.
Mario says, ask Brooke to talk about our 6th level one shot. Now he's hyping me up and telling me I can do it too.
Oh, Mario plays too.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Well, he's how we met, which is how we got on this tangent. So let me rein that in for just a sec.
Oh yeah, we got so off. We got to focus on something I don't even care
This
about.
is already better than our last interview already.
So I was running a campaign with my brother, sister, cousin, and they'd never played D&D before, and it was my first time really DMing like that. So I was like, Mario, you play D&D, come help me.
Wait, no, we met at your mom's house like 2 days before my wedding. I remember you, but like that doesn't really count.
No.
I don't think we even conversed.
No, you I told you there was a piano, and you ran away and played the piano the rest
And I
of the
don't
night.
even remember that. Anyway, so this is the real time.
So Mario came and started playing, and then he invited me to DM for his friends, and I was like, sure. And it was always at his house, and I would always see Kate there every week, and I was like, she seems cool, so I want to like get to know her more. And then a couple months go by, and we're like, kind of getting to know each other, and I'm like, hey Kate, do you want to hang out, just the two of us, not with D&D? And so she came over to my house, and we had dinner, and that was really the start of it. And then 2 months later, 29 Tatooine Trouble came out. I got the names mixed up. and
Tattoo in Trouble.
Yeah.
Okay, say that 5 times fast.
Tatooine Trouble.
Tatooine. It's a Star Wars fan film.
Tattoo. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey Brooke, can you do my makeup for the premiere? Because she's also a makeup artist, by the way.
So that's how you guys like developed the bond.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I was just amazed that Brooke was so interested in this world that I'd created, because at the time I had just like outlines of episodes and not really anything beyond the one episode that I had produced and directed in 2020, which is on our YouTube channel. It's like 15 minutes long. It's, I think, a ton of fun. It was so much fun. I look back on that very fondly.
We're definitely going to
The whole
jump over to the YouTube channel in a couple of
Yeah,
minutes.
awesome. So anyway, but you were just so involved, like,
I was so enamored that
and I
was even doing film in Yakima.
Yeah, and
alone a really good story.
When you think about like making friends and building your circle and stuff, there's a lot of fair weather people we come across. Nothing against them. They're just not our people, or whatever you want to, however you want to word it. And the problem is sometimes we build our circles so big because we're just allowing anybody in, and then you get let down. When you keep your circle small, not intentionally, but when you wait for the right types of people, like if you want I always say, I hang out with people from the land of the misfits, like the ones that don't fit into normal, a square peg in a square hole, or I guess this would be a square shape. You tend to you meet the interesting people that you're looking for, because we've only got so much bandwidth to really share. And when you can share it with people that are really on that level and that frequency, it's almost like, you're seeing some of your own qualities. I'm sure there's shit that you guys probably drive each other crazy about too, because when you're that much alike, sometimes there can be some quirks where, like almost like sisters or brothers would be. But I think that's really cool that you guys were able to like resonate on this. It's like a deeper level.
Yeah.
Friendships like that usually don't end because something stupid isn't going to come in between, You guys can talk through stuff. You can, if somebody messes up, we can talk about it.
Yeah.
And giving up control, like this was kind of your birth child, and that she's producing, so a lot of people are like, well, I'm going to produce, I'm going to be the star, I'm also going to write everything. Like nobody wants to hear other ideas. So being able to share that and put the, pass the baton to where somebody's strength lies, I think is what builds a good team, because not everybody's perfect at everything.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, when I came on board for Tatooine Trouble, am I allowed to say what it is now?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Why would you
it's
even
not
ask?
A secret, but like it's transformed from the Star Wars fan film into its own universe called 29 Trouble. So
that's another title that Mario, my husband, came up with.
Yeah, Mario's responsible for all of this. In many
Pretty
ways.
much.
Mario.
Yeah, but as I started coming on and helping this project, I was like, oh, these ideas are so cool. I want to develop them further. This is like, a little baby planet that we could just expand into this whole universe. And we did, quite literally. But the whole time I just kept checking in with her, like, are you sure you're okay with this amount of change? Like, this is your baby. And at one point, probably about a year and a half ago, we had this conversation again. And we kind of came up with this analogy of like, she had the idea, and together we have raised this like baby into a near adult now. It's almost done. And I think that's what like collaborative storytelling is all about.
Evolving.
Idea and evolving it.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I started Wise Media Group back in Florida, I was coming up with like some conceptual like logos and like themes, and everyone's like, oh, you need to know like what. I'm like, they wanted to, everybody was asking for like this definitive end goal. And I said, I don't know, man. Right now it's like infancy. Like I know that I want to create stuff, but I don't know exactly what that means today. So if you're at, like, people were coming in that wanted me to pay them money to like help me like build certain things. And the problem is I've been through this too many times, kind of like what you guys are going through, is whatever your idea is today, 6 weeks from now, 6 years from now, it's probably going to be 100% different because you're allowing yourself to evolve and not be, it's like when people go look at a house and they fall in love, like, don't fall in love with the fucking house until you own it, or else you're going to not focus on any of the potential issues. And keeping it like that, all evolving, encompassing universe where things can grow here and things can grow here. That's why I like playing video games that are kind of open world video games, because it's not so locked into this box, right? I feel like you guys are, that's kind of like the way you guys do things. You know, it's a very artistic view where it's not, you can't put an artist in a box, I don't think.
Oh, no.
Nope.
If you put them in a box, they will find a way out of the box and make a different box that's not a box shape.
I think that's when you see like the heroin addicts and the severe drug addicts, because when you, a lot of these people that are like severe heroin addicts, when they're not, they're severely, they're also like incredibly intelligent and artistic, but when they can't get that outlet, they almost turn to something else that gives them that same type of like release, that endorphin feeling. Because you must get a rush when you're in the middle of creating something, and then when it's finished, the rush wears off, and it's like, what's next?
Either that or it's a crash.
Right?
But it always drives us to the next thing.
Yeah.
Usually post premiere for like 3 hours, I am really depressed.
Because it's
But
done.
it only lasts for 3 hours.
Imagine being on like a hit series and you're doing season finale, right?
Oh man, that
I
would be
don't
so
want to
rough.
picture that yet.
No.
Because there's no guarantee that you're ever gonna have another hit. You know, like look at a lot of these hit shows like Friends and things like this. You know, they all went on to some cool careers, but there's also, it was never that again.
Yeah.
So you guys had a video that was an award-winning short film, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
And we're gonna have Colin pull this up over on YouTube here. So kind of tell us who wants to tell us about it first.
Well, I'll start. We tried to enter this like little Instagram competition thing, create a short all about sounds of, not sounds of your city. It was something else. It was another sounds thing.
It had to be 30 seconds or less.
It had to be 30 seconds or less. And so we just put our camera top down very sketchily and just hit record. And we decided to go with the concept of our idea process.
Yeah.
So how we come up with our ideas, what we're doing in the like kind of, I don't know, what's that room? The writer's room.
The writer's room or whatever. Yeah, I remember. How did we get it attached to the? We like
Lots of tape.
we put this pole. We put some light stands up, and we like taped a pole across to the light stands, and then like taped the phone looking down.
Yep.
So
It was like the jankiest thing.
how did this idea come up? So we're gonna watch this in a second. Actually, let's watch it and then you're gonna take us through it.
Okay.
Sounds good.
It's the one he's on right now, right?
Yeah. And there we go. Now it's looped.
And that was it.
Mhm.
So what did we just watch? And there's people that are gonna watch this right now that don't understand. They're gonna,
Oh,
who the
of
fuck
course.
gave them an award for that? So tell us.
We ask ourselves that every day. Just kidding.
So take us through it a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like our process in ideas is kind of like, I have this weird idea. What if we shoot top down? And she's like, oh, that's a great idea. What if we do it where our laptops are like this and we're sitting across from each other? And then I'm like, oh, that's great. Hey, swords. What if we use those? And then she's like, oh, awesome.
Did
I didn't feel
the
that.
swords represent anything other than it was just
We
something?
like swords.
Yeah.
And it does make you like, what's going on with the sword?
Exactly.
Like,
And they look cool. It was
Yeah.
like, what can we do that we can show just without our faces. Like,
Who owns the swords?
Mostly her.
I was gonna say, is it Mario?
Yeah.
Mario.
well,
Mario.
we
looks
didn't
like
show Mario's sword on there, but Mario has like a saber that is part of the sword collection, but wasn't featured in this.
Mario has a dragon sword, right?
It's not a dragon sword.
Does he
I
have
actually have a dragon sword.
Okay, I knew there was a dragon sword somewhere in this group.
Yeah, Mario's is like a cavalry saber.
Okay.
The slightly curved one. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, there was that, and he says he broke an arm with this sword one time. Anyway, we will not elaborate on that currently.
Hopefully not his own arm.
So we like swords, and so the scripts you see us fiddling with, those were actual scripts from, was it our Palm Springs movie?
No, I think it was
Oh, it was a pirate,
not
pirate
what we
play
ever
movie.
previously thought we had the capacity for.
Well, that being improv, with the play within the movie was the Pirates of the Gulf of Mexico. So that was the scripts that you see us fiddling around with.
I'm assuming Johnny Depp was not in this.
No, he was not involved. There's nothing copyrighted involved. At all.
A wonderful character named Rodney played Jack
Cardinal.
Jack Cardinal.
Okay. Was this a spoof of Pirates of the Caribbean?
Yes, but anyway,
Okay.
we'll get to that in a minute. So
Okay.
so there you see we've got our scripts, and then at the end there, and we got our tea because we like tea. So kind of like little things about us, like we like swords, we like tea, and along with this creative process, like kind of naturally flowing, we filmed for like 15 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
and then we just cut up, and we had to make sure it was less than 30 seconds. So we found the coolest little snippets of that, and then at the end you can see with my laptop, which is the one with all the stickers on the top of the screen. I've got an editing timeline, and that was actually for one of our movies that I was actively editing at the time. And you hear the voice, do you know what? Just read your script. Just read your script.
So that was part of an actual movie.
That was part of the actual movie.
Okay.
That has to do with the pirate movie.
The Pirates of
Yeah.
the Gulf of Mexico.
Yes. Mhm.
So that little 30-second short that we just watched, editing aside, how much actual video was shot time-wise, do you think?
Yeah, I think it was between 10 and 15 minutes.
Okay.
A lot of that time though was us sitting there like, okay, what can we do next? Like literally our idea process.
How many of your
Yep.
movies were like, hey, I'm really, like, for me as a kid making movies, we had the scripted ones, but we also had ones where it's like, hey, let's skip school tomorrow and make a movie. Like there was really no plan other than we would sit down, take an hour, write out. We didn't even write out a full like dialogue script. We more like write out like an outline. And there was a lot of improvisation and ad-libbing into the movies. How much of that takes place? Maybe not so much now, but how much of that has taken place in some of your films?
Well, what comes to mind first is our improv trilogy, which was just referenced with the extremely long title.
Not what we ever previously thought we had the capacity for.
Yep.
She directed that one, and she can't
What-
remember the name.
What was it called?
Not so. Let's go. Let's back it up so that this makes some semblance of.
I don't
Sense.
think there's anything you're going to say that's going to make this make sense, but we're going to let you try.
Okay. Wow.
We had a project that will remain unnamed for now, and everything kind of fell apart at the last minute. But
we
had
booked
already
a venue. We'd booked our
Mhm.
crew, and then both actors had to drop out within 48 hours of
Yeah,
the
valid
2
reasons,
leads.
but then we were left with this venue that we'd already booked and like we're about to pay for, and it's like, well, we need to do something. So we were trying to come up with ideas, and we're like, let's do an improv comedy, call up a bunch of our actors and just give them the idea that a group of high schoolers is putting on a play, but because of COVID, a bunch of the actors are homesick, and so they
have to live stream the play.
and they have to live
Mm.
stream the play because COVID, no audience. So they have to pull in the digital media club who's live streaming it on stage.
To fill in the extra roles of the people who are homesick.
It is chaotic and beautiful.
Yes, that's also on our channel.
Yeah, so we did that in about 24 hours. Start idea to finish production. And then we had so much fun with it that we decided to do a sequel a couple months later. And then we did a third one, which is my favorite. It's the most polished. It's also the longest. It's our
And it
first
looks the
feature.
coolest because the lighting is really good.
Oh yeah.
What do you got when you guys are shooting your films, your movies? You're shooting with a camera, obviously.
Yeah.
What are you doing for audio? Do you have like a boom mic? Do you have just a shotgun mic on the
That's-
camera?
That's been a progression over time. So our first film we made as a company was for a competition that was really cool. It was called Feel My City Sounds. And so we wanted to do the sounds of Yakima. And we wrote this story that incorporated various sounds and locations and things. And so as part, there was a company sponsoring that. Hollyland Tech was this company who's now out of business, who was partially sponsoring that competition. And so in order to participate, you had to buy the set of lav mics and use them to record all the sounds. So that's what we had for starting out with sounds. And those are kind of they're
Now, when you
batteries on them.
just to
Yeah.
get caught up, when you say recording all the sounds,
Mhm.
this wasn't recorded during the actual shooting. This was you recorded the sounds later on and added it into the film.
For Palm Springs,
We recorded everything.
yeah. We generally do record everything on site.
Okay.
We don't do too much ADR or Foley or much of that yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't need to yet, is my point.
So then it was later that summer that we filmed Not What We Expected, the high school play movie. And so we just stuck the little mics up on the side of the stage. And did we use somebody's boom mic for that one? Or like mic on
I
a
think we did, yeah.
just like a shotgun mic on a camera? We might
Yep.
have, yeah. And so then we did that. And then with the second one, we made our sequel to that movie, which is the long title one that I keep bragging and
We call
reciting.
it the sequel.
It's the sequel. It's Not What We Expected Part 2, but the actual title is Not What We Ever Previously Thought We Had the Capacity For, which is a reference to the difficulties that the characters are going through in trying to produce a second play in this sequel film. But anyway, so we had that we had 3 cameras.
3 cameras,
And
4
then-
lavs, and 2 booms, I think.
Yeah, the sound was all over the place.
Now, were you having this all go into like one?
No.
Oh.
Mm-mm.
That's why we have a slate.
Yeah, we have our wonderful sound lady Paula, and she had the recorder with the boom and all that. That was going on there. One of the mics was connected to one set of the lavs. The mic was connected to the other one.
It's a lot.
And then I was just editing like, what am I? And they all sound.
It's overwhelming.
different.
It honestly, listening to you talk right now kind of like makes me want to like vomit a little bit, because do you know what a Zoom H6 is?
Yep.
So
We've learned since then.
do you guys have one?
We borrow our friend's H5.
I'm gonna donate mine to you guys because I don't use it anymore. So you can have my Zoom
Aw.
Zoom H6.
Wow.
Thank you.
Little do they know they're going to be editing for life. But no, for real, it's great because, as you know, you can use it for recording
Yeah.
like this, and you can hook up multiple mics to it, and it all goes into one track or multiple tracks.
Yep.
It's basically the same thing that we're using right now. It's just a smaller version, and I just don't use it. I bought it, and I think I used it once or twice, so it's sitting
Wow.
there. But that's really cool because people don't realize how hard it is to film. Even like, what's the I know a question I was going to ask you guys, and then we're going to talk a little bit about how this passion and having fun, you guys identify that, hey, there is a need for this. There's a world out there that wants to market their business. They want to sell more pizza, they want to sell more tacos, they want to get more Johns at a strip club, whatever it is. This is the ability to go out and use your services to help people. What's the most you guys have ever spent on a budget on a film out of your own pocket? Mario's got a question.
No, well, he has a comment, but it's
Mario.
off topic.
Peanut Gallery, why don't you just come join the podcast next time?
What he says, I'll just say it real quick. I think this is somewhat not true, but part of it is not true. But he says Kyle is in the YouTube chat and wants you to talk about how cool he is.
Kyle?
No.
Indeed, there is a comment that says, "Ask him about how cool they're."
Oh, sorry for doubting you,
did-
Kyle. We
did
thought
you
it was
share-
Mario.
Did you share the
messaging.
comment? Okay, he did. share the comment. Who's Kyle?
Kyle is probably the only reason that our films look as good as they do.
Mhm.
Uh,
He's an actor. He's a director. He's a cinematographer.
the best DP that I could ever ask for.
He's got the absolute best name in the world.
Yeah.
Honestly, I have 2 girls, and if I had a boy, his name was going to be Kyle. So Kyle sounds pretty awesome.
Yeah,
He is.
Kyle is. He was one of our. I mean, he's been
He was an actor in the improv trilogy, arguably the best one.
honestly.
Or at least the funniest, and that's
Yeah.
the whole point of improv comedy. He was the director of photography on a film that I recently directed that has not come out yet. And he did amazing. Like,
Yeah.
that film only looks good because of him.
He is also an award-winning director. The same. It was the Under the Valley Film Festival that gave us the award.
Who is the
Or,
okay? Where'd the award come from again?
The Under the Valley Film Festival, which is a local festival that was
Local,
in
like
February.
Yakima.
Yep.
Okay.
run by people local here in town, and they put on the film festival. They awarded us best experimental short for ideas, and they awarded Kyle with best short film and was like best overall film of the day.
Yeah, he won the whole thing.
Yep, for his vampire comedy Suck. Which is like it's
a good one.
amazing.
I can only imagine. Now, these are people we got to get on here.
Oh yeah.
I know you guys
Kyle.
are like waiting to like get situated, but I'm doing everything I can do to make this like your permanent home. I'm like calling people saying, hey, go cancel your fucking lease and come use it. because I love this. To me, this is energy.
Yeah.
You know, Kyle, we got to get you on. Yeah. It would be cool to have all three of you on at the same time.
Yeah.
I could just have you guys talk and I'll go sit over there.
No, you got to get Gage and Kyle on.
Oh
at the
yes.
same time.
Gage is another one. Gage and Kyle are kind of like tacos and burritos, you know.
Tacos and burritos. Okay. Soft taco or hard taco?
Yes.
Yes.
Street taco. No.
So street taco sounds like they use heroin. Hard taco sounds like they eat a lot of Viagra. And soft taco sounds, I don't know. I don't think you want to be the soft taco in this group. All right. So he's a hard taco. Oh god.
Yeah, I think Kyle and you were gonna get along just fine.
Yeah, and you know what's crazy, Colin? I'm talking to like they're extreme. They're also very religious. So am I offending you guys with my taco talk? Okay. Where? So good. Okay,
This
so
is
back
live.
to how much have you guys spent? What's the most out of pocket you spend on a movie?
Out of pocket. I don't know specifically because
ballpark.
I think it was not the drama we
I
expected.
think it was
Like
that was-
800
That was
some.
about $800.
Okay.
What did we even spend that on? I don't remember.
So much food. DJ, lights.
Right. The
Well,
Because I heard
Right.
one you said you guys had a venue and people backed out. You had to pay for the venue.
That was
That was-
for the first one of
that wasn't
trilogy.
a whole
The-
lot of money.
Third one of that trilogy cost the most. The first one probably only cost like $400.
I think it was less.
Well, the venue was $300, and then we spent some money on food.
And then there was a sound machine that didn't work. Or no, the
Oh yeah.
the fog machine that worked for literally 5 seconds and then it just died.
I think part of your production companies, obviously you guys, I feel like your production company is almost two parts. You've got the part where it's pure art and passion for like what you guys want to do. I feel like for that, there almost should be looking for, you know, like the sugar daddies of the sponsoring world, where the return is they get to have really cool content created. So if anybody out there wants to sponsor, you know, maybe we could find a way to raise money to where they, you know, they get credit for it or equipment leased or rented. Because, you know, the thing is you can only do so much. With talent only gets you so far, unfortunately. We can all agree on that. You have, you know, one of the reasons why probably Hollywood is not favored amongst people is slave labor, Hollywood, but they have the money. That's why they can get away with it, because they can spend, you know, $100 million on a movie that might make money. But yeah, if you guys had somebody that's like, hey, here's a $5,000 budget, put together a proposal, put together a, you know, I believe there's people out there that value what you guys are doing, that want to see people succeed. And, you know, I'm sure that would go a long way with what you guys can do. Places you can shoot. Some areas might require, you know, you have to get a permit to go down Yakima Avenue or something in case something happens. You're running down with fake guns and a cop. We made a movie. Oh my God. We made a movie in 1997, the one with Oscar in it. And there was a scene where we get back to the house. Do you remember I showed you that little scene on the beach where everybody got shot up? Well, when it goes back to the flashback, my friend's up on the roof of the camera, so you can't see him. You just see me getting out of the car, dragging my bloody friend from the car to my house. We go inside. We're taking a break. We're actually eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches with milk covered in fake blood, covered in stage blood. We made our own blood with what's that shit called? Carol syrup.
Corn or Caro.
It was Carol syrup and a bunch of different food colors making that dark blood, and we're covered in blood. All of a sudden, I get a knock at my door. Boom! I'm holding a fake gun that looks real as fuck in my hand. It's three PBSO officers. They draw their weapons, and I got peanut butter. I'm like, ah! I'm dropping my gun. Justin comes walking around the corner like he's in pain because he fell down a bunch of times. He's limping, and the cops are screaming. I thought we were going to get shot. Matter of fact, my white privilege saved my ass in that moment. 100%. If I would have been in the hood, I probably would have been taken down. So white privilege, thank you very much. But it was very scary. But this comes to, we didn't have money for permits.
Yeah.
So we would just take our chances. We were breaking into buildings, climbing atop of roofs. We had the cops called on us so many times.
Guerrilla filmmaking, Brooke.
Oh, yeah.
Ultra low micro budget guerrilla
100%, bro.
filmmakers.
We were in the alley with our fake blood. We were splashing on the wall to see which one looked real.
Oh,
And all of a sudden the cops roll up thinking we're graffitiing. And I'm like,
No, sir. We're just trying to figure out which blood is the most.
It's food coloring.
Help.
Yeah, we got arrested. Well, as kids, you don't really get arrested, but
Detained or whatever.
Detained. Our parents came, and our parents were like just shaking their heads. I'm like, you really think it was a fucking Nintendo gun? It was like a gray Nintendo gun. Somebody called the cops saying he was running down the street with a gun. I'm like, it's gray. It looks like a Star Wars lights, like a
blaster or something.
A blaster with a cord hanging out the bottom of it. But yeah, they made us for community service. We had to like clean walls. But you know what? I don't regret anything from my childhood because school wasn't, kids stay in school, but school wasn't for me because it didn't cater to my way of learning. Not that they need to cater to everybody, but I was so bored at school.
Oh,
I didn't want to go out and do drugs and be a gangbanger. I wanted to go out and be creative. And then I got into trade schools and I started getting more into acting. And once I found drama, I didn't even know, that that's what drama was at the time because we were just doing it. It was like we had no idea what we were doing. So I think what you guys are doing is absolutely amazing because you're not kids, but you still are living that. Tell me, I know you know this. You're reliving a little bit of that childhood, like that thrill when your mom's like, let's get a camera. Like that thrill, I see it in you.
Yeah.
It's a twinkle. You hear it in your voice. And now you're transferring into the business world.
Yeah.
And so let's jump on their website, Colin, because they got some services that, and I'll tell you why you guys should hire them. It's not because I think they're really cool people. Let's go to their services over on the tab over there, all the way to the right. So this is why I think people should look at groups like you to hire somebody. One of the main reasons is if somebody hires you for something, and I can already speak from personal experience. You've now become my copyright editor. I have a separate business where we write personal narratives, character reference letters, and the amount of interest and personal experience that you put into it, like wanting to turn out good work. I don't think you guys, if somebody hires you guys to do a job, I think if somebody, you're more concerned about the good work than the money, in my opinion.
Yeah. And
to an extent, that might be a downfall too, because I don't even know if you guys know how to price what you're really worth. I don't know if you guys see it. I don't know. I mean, do you guys know how to price your stuff?
We're
you guys,
working on it.
Yeah. Because
learning.
If you're charging less than like $3 or $4 grand for a project, I think it's undervalued because even a simple project can turn into a fucking nightmare.
Oh yeah.
You get somebody that's like, all right, $500. And they're like, well, I don't like this. I don't like that. Redo this. Nobody knows what goes in. This is why there's no money in video editing, because people think they can just hop on and do it themselves. Oh, I can do this myself. What's so hard about it? Yeah, maybe it was 2 hours of shooting, but then there's color correction. There's going back and fixing audio. There's doing so many things, especially when you're new to it. And you can't charge somebody for the mistakes that you don't know yet. But at the same time, any company that they hire, like if they hire the local cable company to come out and do a video, you're hiring you might get lucky and get somebody that cares, but chances are you've got somebody that's on the clock. He's going to come out, he's going to shoot, he's going to go eat his lunch. He doesn't care what the end product looks like because he's getting paid from a company. So I think people that are going to hire somebody, if they hire you guys, they're getting a little bit of the best of both worlds because they're probably going to get an exceptionally good end product. And just because it sounds like you guys are new and you don't have $100,000 camera, you don't need $100,000 cameras. You could take your iPhone with your guys' skill set and probably turn something out that would, Miramax would be like, yeah, that's good quality, So with your cameras, what do we got here? We got services. We got video production, editing packages.
I want to talk about that picture for a second. I'm really proud of that picture. That was filmed in this building, not on this floor, but the building where we are. I don't know if you're on the wide, but
that's
anyway,
on the 11th floor.
Yeah, you can see Brooke there. And the aforementioned Kyle Roy is sitting right next to her with the camera.
Oh, that's Kyle.
Yep, that's Kyle. I don't know if you're still in the chat.
Shout
Kyle,
out to
but
Kyle.
you're famous now again. Anyway, so I love that picture because I was like, dang, we look so official. There's like, you got the 3 actors in the white shirts, and then the guy on the floor, and then there's like our sound lady, and then like people holding like fills and, and diffusers and all this stuff. And it just looks so official. And there's me over there taking the picture. It was like, dang, we
Oh,
really
you're
have
taking the
set.
picture?
Yeah. I was like, look at this. Yeah, we're on set. We have people and we have stuff, and it looks
And that's
cool.
not even like every person that was
No.
there that day, but it just goes to show you, like, just from this one picture. How
And this
much
was
goes
what? This was
into
a short film you guys are working on?
Yep.
That is a soon-to-be-released short film that I directed called The Isabel Project. We've kind of teased it a little bit on our podcast and Instagram. We actually came up with the concept on episode 3 of our podcast. So you can go listen to that, and then
Speaking of podcasts, we need a commitment to when the new start date is.
soon,
Soon, like this year soon?
I would say this month,
This month? Okay. Like
Yeah.
at this table?
maybe.
Maybe. You're pushy, Dan.
So how much did these actors and crew members make?
They
were fed very well all day.
That's my point.
Yeah.
These are people that are doing it for the passion
Yep.
and
Yeah.
the love, right?
Mhm.
And now this was not a paid project. This was the project that you guys are doing on your own.
Yep.
Yep.
This is why people should hire you guys. This is what they do for fun. Imagine what they'll do for money.
Pretty much.
That's insane. Because there's I know people that are in video productions, like news channels, things like this, and they fucking hate their job because
Oh my gosh, how?
because
Why?
because they've sold their soul to the devil for a corporate paycheck, and they're so restricted on what they can do, what they can't do. Like, you guys have free range because you're not in it for the end result of like how much money is this. There's going to come a point where that's going to be important,
Mhm.
you know, because you guys both want to like do this 100% full
Yeah,
time.
it's got to be sustainable. But if it ever gets to a point where we're not having fun with it, there's really no point.
The art goes away.
Yeah.
The art goes away when you're no longer having fun. That's the problem. Is people say, "Oh man, if you do what you love, you never work a day in your life."
Yep.
The problem is the reality behind that is anything you do eventually becomes a job, and you really have to. It's like a relationship.
Oh, yeah.
Relationships are very happy and fun in the beginning. 5 years later, you're like, "You're never doing the dishes. You're never doing this.
Yeah.
You know, you cheated on me. It's because you don't do this enough." There's this like. You lose that. You have
It's
to
out of the
remind-
honeymoon stage. Yeah.
but the honeymoon stage it's never always going to be honeymoon stage, but you have to remind yourself, and you and your partner got to go do things that are not necessary. You can't let yourself get into a rut. It's the
Yeah.
same thing with the businesses, with what you're doing. There will come a point where you're like, oh man, we've got like 20 paid gigs in front of us before we can go work on our own project.
Mhm.
And that's going to be the reality.
Yeah.
Is that will take the precedent, because that's what's allowing you to go do your fun.
Yep.
Yep.
And you got to stay fresh about that.
Mhm.
So when you do have your retreats, I think it'd be cool if we all team up and like once a year we have like a 14-day retreat where everybody, you know, you see these summits, like these podcast summits where everybody chips in a couple $100
Mhm.
and there's like imagine if we went and like rented like, you know, 50 acres. Everybody brings their tents. We've got like Wi-Fi out there set up, and it's time to go out and just make movies for the next few.
Brooke, that's how we do season 1.
It was my idea.
Yes,
Mario,
it was.
Mario, this one wasn't yours.
Gonna say, did you just do that?
I just did that. That just happened. But yeah, but that's
Mario says on the subject of the crew members who we didn't pay, he says they got to eat his cooking and listen to his jokes,
Oh yeah.
which are both very well worth it.
Oh,
So
yeah.
yes.
but that's my point is the people that do this, if you have to hire somebody, you got somebody looking at their watch.
Mhm.
Like, I'm only here for another 20 minutes, you know, use me or lose me, you know, and that there's a place for that. But where you guys are right now, you're in the magic stage still. This is magical what you guys get to do. It's creating magic.
It feels magic. I say that to Kate all the time. Like, this is the magic that I wanted to create my whole life.
Well,
It's pretty
I'm
cool.
glad I met you guys. Look, everything happens for a reason,
Yeah.
and why the reason. Sometimes we don't know the end result, but I get it. You know, a huge positive vibe from both of you, and with both of you together, it's kind of like, you know, transfer. Or what's the old Volt? You guys ever heard of Voltron?
Mhm.
Voltron was before Power Rangers. So you've got like these
I
5.
don't do pop culture, so
You've got these 5 lions, but when the 5 lions join, they make Voltron.
Mhm.
So without all of the magic together, you still get some really cool individuals, but together we're better together.
Yeah.
yeah.
So I think you guys are awesome. And
Teamwork makes the dream work.
it really does,
Yes.
man.
Yeah.
The cheesier the cliche, the more I love it.
It's true, yeah.
It is. I believe in stuff when some people are like, "Oh, you smile too much," or "Why
No
are
such
you
thing.
why are you always happy?" Or it's like, because no matter how fucked up things are, I went to federal prison. We can talk about that on your podcast one time. That'd be a fun, interesting story. But I went to prison, and there was times where things were really like bleak. Like you're sitting in a cell with guys, snoring and farting and jerking off in showers and just horrible. But I focused hard enough to like find the positive moments in that, because there was plenty of shit that I could have oh man, this and this sucks, but I chose to find the positivity. And it seems like you guys are doing that. And life is hard, there's no question. There's things probably today that made you question life sometimes, like, what the fuck am I doing? But then you've got the things that you look forward to. You've got some stuff that you'll probably be talking about in the near future. I almost spilled the fucking beans on that one. But and these are things that are going to keep you going.
Yeah.
So I'm on your team 100%. I want you guys to be on my team too.
Yeah.
But what do you guys want to leave people with? You guys, let's go over
I want to pop over to the Instagram link real
Instagram.
quick. So this is the social media that we're probably the most active on. You can see up at the top like little sneak peeks of various stories for those. Yeah, I don't know if you can view them on desktop, but so kind of like all the projects we've done is kind of like little clips thereof. And then down here, if you want to go on to one of these first 2 posts, or that one looks cool too. But yeah, we have a lot of our behind the scenes content on here. This was our slate. I'm really proud of this because my little brother, where it says roll, he just drew.
Looks like a man running from a lawnmower.
It's a pool vacuum, which is the title Vicious Vacuum. So we have fun with our slates. We're very non-serious with them. So this is what we filmed at the end of last month. You can see some of our actors there. We had super cool lighting, and
that is really cool.
Yeah.
Is any one of those Kyle?
No.
But there is a Trevor right in the middle with the hair like mine.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's our amazing lighting guy. He is responsible for why suck, why this Vicious Vacuum. They look so clean,
we got to get
nice.
Trevor to come into the studio.
You got to get everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, to set my lighting up. But.
And that.
Keep going. What else we got on there? Oh wow, look at that. So Trevor did all that lighting?
Yeah.
Trevor and Ethan, the DP. He's the guy in the baseball cap. You can see a little closer.
Whose pool?
It's the house that I live at currently.
Yeah.
Okay, so pool party at Brooke's.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, but those were a couple of really late nights, and you can't really tell from the pictures, but that's also right when the smoke hit Yakima. Day 1 of shooting was fine. Day 2 was just like, ugh.
Oh yeah,
awful.
you guys had to deal with that.
We had to deal with that, and I don't think, and it was also like 50 degrees, and we're in the pool,
In
and
the
it's
middle of August.
Is the pool heated?
no.
It was the middle of August.
Why the
It'd be
fuck
90
would you pick a
degrees.
pool in Washington that's not heated?
Because I've swam at this pool every summer for the last few years. It's always hot at night,
Ooh.
except for this one weekend in August.
Well, the thing is, the water was warm enough to the point where like we were like, why is it steaming? Like there was like vapor coming because the air was so
It
cold.
probably only sucks when you get out of the pool.
Yeah,
yeah.
because they were in the pool, they were like, oh yeah, this feels nice, and they're like, dang it, I have to get out.
Soft tacos. I don't know.
Anyway, yep. That.
Wow, that's a cool, like that whole background over there. That looks like a cool chill spot.
yeah.
Oh yeah, the
That's
whole
nice.
everything is really nice.
Okay.
But
Yeah, anyway, so our Instagram is where you can kind of keep up to date with us. That's where we post all of our announcements, information, updates, things like that. Like Kate said, it's where we're most active.
Yeah.
So if you wanna follow us, you can see what we're up to.
yep.
And we have all the links in the description, their website, and you have imagine there's a contact us form on your website, right?
Yep.
So if anybody's interested, so businesses that might want to hire you guys, what would you say like your specialty is? Like obviously somebody's not gonna hire you for like a high-speed car chase for something, but like what type of businesses would you guys see yourselves being able to help?
Coffee shops.
Coffee shops. Okay.
We really want to put life into the local community.
Yeah.
So especially places like Mac Daddy's. We go there all the time to work and socialize.
Where we met today.
Exactly.
Oh,
Yeah. And
okay.
there's a million of those all around Yakima.
Right.
So we would love to just kind of help them grow their business with like social media ads, little TikTok clips or things they can put up on their Facebook.
Now, people, when you say that, TikTok clips, you've got people out there going, "Oh, that's TikToks for kids. Why would I want to do that? No one's going to use my business off of TikTok," right? Explain why that's not necessarily true.
Yeah, I don't know the stats off the top of my head or anything, but TikTok is like one of the most used social media platforms of
In the
day.
entire world.
In the entire world. So you can have someone from the UK go and be like, "Oh, I'm taking a trip to the Pacific Northwest," and they're, TikTok knows because TikTok knows, and so they'll throw up this, "Oh, if you're visiting Yakima, check out Mac Daddy's," and they'll be like, "Oh, that's cool." And then local people too, it generally tracks your location because it's the internet, so it knows you're in Yakima. It knows there's a Mac Daddy's in Yakima.
Well, because where my opinion is you have people that make these commercials for their restaurants, right? And they advertise them on TV or whatever, which is becoming a very slowly like dying out breed.
Yeah.
So you still want to create the commercial. You're going to put your commercial up on YouTube. You're going to put it on your website. You're going to advertise it on Facebook or wherever. But when you have somebody like this awesome team right here, and we'll talk about Kate specifically, you can take your long form video. When I say long form video, I'm talking about like maybe you have like a 30-second commercial, and you can take that commercial and you can make like really cool clips out of that commercial where it's engaging to especially if you've got like ice cream shops, coffee shops. These are targeting people that are in their 20s, 30s that are they all live on TikTok.
Yeah.
Like literally people are on their phone, like tripping over things in the street because they're watching TikTok videos instead of watching where they're going. And if you're marketing that properly and you're wondering why your commercials aren't working, you're spending I spent $10,000 on a production and my phone didn't ring one time. That's because you hired somebody that only cares about what they know, what they think you want. And they're giving you just that, knowing it's not going to work. If I gave you $10,000 and you're like, "This fucking idiot, I'm going to give them something," and it's not going to work, it's almost like robbery. But if I came to you and said, "Hey, I want to make a commercial," and then you come back to me and you're like, "Hey, look, we're going to make your commercial, but part of the package is we're also going to create 10 to 15 little like 3 or 4 second, 7-second clips. We're going to put it on Instagram Reels. We're going to put it on TikTok and all the people, and we're going to tag it just right. We're going to source it out just right. Instead of you spending $20,000 in marketing on Google AdWords and pay-per-clicks, PPCs, we're going to show you how to turn that into revenue to your local audience and engage it and make it fun." The stuff that Kate on the other side, Kate is also working with me now she's taking my long form videos. Some of my videos are like this one is like an hour long, and Kate will take this video and she's going to find some interesting clips that are like 10, 15 seconds and find the most interesting part of it, post that, and someone's going to go, "Oh, that's fucking cool. I want to go watch the whole video now." Then there's a redirect link. I think being able to explain that to your customer is the key ingredient, or else you're just the same fucking vanilla flavor that they can get anywhere down the street, and vanilla is not that tasty, especially not on a soft taco. So guys, thank you so much. Anything else you want people to know? What's your favorite color?
My favorite color is orange.
I've never heard that one before.
Really?
First time ever. Yours?
I actually don't know anymore. I've always said red, but I feel like I don't actually have anything that's red.
Orange.
Yeah.
It's like
She has orange things. Hers is legit.
it sounds kind of dark. I feel like apocalyptic, burning, and world ending.
What? Or you could think of like pumpkins in fall.
Well,
like cute things.
See?
I'll take both.
Half empty, half full. All right, guys, that's all we got. I look forward to seeing the work that Kate turns out on the shorts. All right, guys. Dan Wise Media Group. Got Kate and Brooke. Awesome team. Go check out Granon Film Productions. All the links in the description of the video. And if you're curious and you want a free consultation with them to find out what they can do for your business, give them a call. That's all I got. Peace, everybody. We're out of here.